You dudes, Oren here. I did another 7 round mock draft for the Detroit Lions for this upcoming NFL draft, and we're officially right around 2/3 of the way through the season. So uh, I put a high emphasis on defense for this draft, and without further ado, and let's get into it. With the 28th overall pick, which is where they were at the time I did this mock draft on the PFN mock draft simulator, I went with, hopefully I say his name right, Princely Umanmielen, edge rusher from Florida. He's listed as 6'5", 245 pounds, high upside, really good at stuffing the run, and a lot of quickness, eye-catching bend, and ability to run around the arc and to pry past blocks. And he was one of the highly touted edge rushers at the spot of where the Lions were drafting toward the end of the first round. And Aiden Hutchinson, I think, needs help getting some pressure off of him, or to get another edge rusher to get pressure on the quarterback, because if things continue the way they are with Aiden Hutchinson, he's going to keep getting double teamed, and he's going to eventually get worn down, and he's going to turn into the next Joey Harrington, and we don't want that. So we got to get some help for Hutchinson to make life easier for him, and this particular edge rusher could be one of the ones to help out with that. At pick number 55, I went with TJ Tampa, cornerback out of Iowa State. He's 6'1", 198 pounds. He's somewhat larger of a cornerback, so he looks like he can do everything well. 4.4 40-yard dash. He can play man-to-man, can play zone. Based on what I'm seeing, he's just has one career interception, but he seems like he's very solid, has a lot of good physical traits, and he can really challenge receivers with contested catches. And he's he should be able to. He shouldn't have a problem adjusting to the NFL wide receivers and NFL life, as far as I can tell. And the Lions desperately need help at cornerback. I mean, Sutton is really good. He's providing some stability there. And then Jerry Jacobs has been starting, but he's meant to be a depth player, and he's definitely starting to get worn out. And opposing NFL offenses are starting to target him, and those are really the only two guys that we have right now. And things didn't work out with C.J. Gardner-Johnson, now known as C.D. Deuce, as well as Mosley, and not many cornerbacks are signed beyond this year, so we definitely need to prioritize that. And TJ Tampa could definitely be the type of cornerback the Lions need, especially when we go up against wide receivers like Christian Watson twice a year and DJ Moore twice a year. And then who's the other one from the other team? Oh yeah, none other than Jameer Jefferson and those guys. So the Lions at some point are going to need answers for those type of people. At pick number 84, I went with Zach Zinter, offensive guard from Michigan, listed as 6'5" and 314 pounds. There's not much talked about with him, but he plays for a really good program, so he could probably play among the best with them and play under the most pressure possible, and under a good coach of Jim Harbaugh. And Brad Holmes was said to have attended the recent Michigan and Ohio State game, and he's probably scouting potential players that could be of use for the Lions, both on Michigan and Ohio State. And Zach Zinter might be one of them. And I think offensive guard is starting to turn into a need for the Lions. And, we have players who are developing, like Colby Sargel. He's not good right now, but he's a developmental rookie. He might be serviceable next season, but the Lions, one of the best offensive guard lines in the NFL when they are healthy. They've been struggling to keep their offensive guards healthy, and Jonah Jackson's on a contract year, and who knows if he'll be back. And not to mention Vaitai, he'll probably be gone, and maybe Graham Gaskell will replace him. Maybe they sign somebody new, but I think having another offensive guard there will help Jared Goff stay protected. He should be doing a good job of protecting himself and adjusting, but regardless, he'll have good protection, and hopefully help him turn the ball over less, which has been a problem the last couple of games. At pick number 91, I went with McKinley Jackson, a defensive tackle from Texas A&M. He's listed as 6'2", 6'2" with a weight of 325 pounds, and it seems like he's definitely a monster in the middle. He's produced some very useful stats, like 7 tackles for losses, as well as 2 sacks, all of this while playing zero technique. So he could be somebody that could be good to pair with Broderick Martin and be able to help Alim McNeill free up and move over to 3-tech and become like the pass rushing threat that he's proven to be. And the Lions, we thought going into the year that the defensive line would be one of the biggest strengths of this team, but they've had a couple of games where they've done really well, like right around the early in the season, like the games like Atlanta and that sort of thing against, lesser teams that are not as good as the Lions. But aside from that, for the large part of the season, the majority of the season, the defensive line outside of Hutchinson and McNeill has been incredibly mid, and it definitely deserves some upgrades wherever they can find them. And this Jackson, Texas A&M, soon to be graduate, or I don't know if they graduate or whatever. He could be one of the answers, and especially with Levi Onwuzurike getting benched again, who knows? So you'd prefer some stability to help with the defensive line, although the defensive line has helped become one of the best run stuffing units in the league. They could definitely improve on the pass rush and being able to take down the dual threat quarterbacks, not just pressure them and let them scramble to the side and get a pass off, which is completed, but actually get a tackle for loss or get a sack and do that much, much more often. Oh yeah. And he's pretty intelligent and is able to zip up vertically to, chase somebody down if necessary. At pick number 156, I went with Carson Steele, or Steele, however you say that name, running back, UCLA. He's 6'1", weighing in at 260 pounds. In my opinion, the Lions need more depth at the running back position, because you just got David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Craig Reynolds, and that's pretty much it, unless Jason Kabinda comes back from his injury. And then, heck, you have one of your linebackers, Malcolm Rodriguez, playing fullback now. So, he could definitely do it, but do you really want to ask a defensive player to, have to do that? So and then not to mention what happened to the undrafted free agent we had from Minnesota, Mohammed, what happened to him in Baltimore, which was highly unfortunate. But this Carson running back should be good at providing depth there, and he could be kind of a bell cow figure, kind of like a somewhat Zach Charbonnet light, so to speak. But according to this, he can take a hit and he can keep moving, which would be good for the type of Lions offense that likes to try to break tackles and get as many yards than what they're supposed to get, especially with the Lions' great offensive line that can help with the running game. So definitely really quick with short bursts there too. So he could definitely help with those 1 yard gains to get the first down or get the touchdown without needing to do the brotherly shove or the tush push or whatever you want to call it. So at pick number 187, I went with Daquan Hardy, cornerback from Penn State. And there isn't really much information on him, but this is a day 3 type of draft pick. And I assume if he plays for Penn State, then he's probably played against some really good competition, like, Michigan, Ohio State, Iowa, those type of teams. And he could be a special teamer. And I did double up on cornerback here because like I said, I think, we need as much help there as we can. And maybe he can help out with special teams, or maybe rise up the ranks and become a more reliable replacement for such secondary players like Will Harris or Fatu Melifonwu or Chase Lucas, maybe. he can definitely help improve the secondary, which needs all the help it can get at this point. So cannot stress enough, cornerback is one of the biggest needs for the Lions for the long term. And then with my last pick at number 220, I went with James Turner, the kicker from Michigan. Yes, Riley Patterson has been reliable for us for the most part this year. He's been fairly accurate, and but the big concern with Riley Patterson is his range, and he's hasn't been asked to make too many 40 a whole lot of 40-yard field goals or 50-yard field goals. But what if we need somebody who can? And the worst happens with Riley Patterson. And don't get me wrong, I think Riley Patterson is going to be the kicker that we need for the future. And he's proven that when he had that stint in Jacksonville, and we traded to get him back. But, I needed to fill in somebody, and James Turner was somebody here who looked like they could do it. He just in this recent game against Ohio State, he went 3 for 3 on field goals, and one of them apparently was a 50-yard plus a field goal. So throughout this past year, he's 2 for 3 on 50-yard plus field goals, as well as 2 for 3 on 40 to 49-yard field goals, and then 6 for 6 on 30 for 39-yard field goals. So to be able to kick key field goals under the immense pressure of playing for Michigan and then going against Ohio State, that is definitely what you would want in an NFL kicker. And, maybe there's better kickers out there, but, if JJ Hardy can do okay in the, or not JJ, who was the kicker for Michigan last year? That guy, if he can do okay for San Francisco, and then despite missing a game-winning field goal against Cleveland, then DJ Turner should be able to do do the same things as well. James Turner, excuse me. I'm getting my Michigan names mixed up here, but yeah, that's pretty much my mock draft. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you agree that the Lions need to prioritize defense this time around, now that the offense is pretty much all in shape? Feel free to let me know. And then until next time, go Lions, one pride.